What is grit? Kabama won't say grit. Grit is when somebody tries to dream steal you. Grit is when somebody tells you you're crazy to leave the banking industry. To do that, and you're not sure if you're going to get a sizable amount every month. Whereas if you work for a bank, you are guaranteed of incentives, of a car, of a nice corner office, of a good paycheck. Dream stealers sometimes are people who are closest to you. It could be your mom. It could be your boyfriend. It could be your spouse. Are you with us? I'm not mad, just expressive. There are dream stealers out there who will tell you you cannot do it. And the more people say that you can't, the more people who will tell you, you know what, Dong, ayaw na lang pag Manulife, pag may gusto na lang, uy, kapoy-kapoy pa ka, mag-door-to-door pa ka, sus, tigulang na kay ka, pag may gusto na lang. These are the kinds of voices that you will hear. The question is, are you gritty to say, no, I believe in the company. I believe in what they have to offer. I believe in management. I believe in the product. And I believe that this is a product that can change the lives of Filipinos who are 95% broke in this country. Are you with us? Have you ever experienced before when you're about to present and make the person sign a contract and in the last minute they change their minds? Kapila! Over and over and over again. Do you go to your agency manager and you say, Sura ni Busing, wait. Pagkalisto na ni. Sus, manager ko sa mo Ang tanan ta mutuman sa ako, pero kani di sila mutuman sa ako Guess what? These are sandpapers. People who are roughing out your life. Why? To smoothen out the rough edges of your life. To test how strong you are on the inside. You go home and you see that you've got a mother who's sick and somebody will reject you. Let me tell you something. Forget about their no. Look for somebody who will give you a yes. Because every single no that you get is one step closer to a yes. Attrition. You're an agency manager for 10 years. You recruit blood, sweat, tears. Hala, training to the max. Kuyog to the max. From Talisay all the way to Consolacion. Kuyog ka lang gihapon. Niya mo quit. They give up. Sama ni, uy. Sige tag-coach diri. Gasto tag-gasolina. Niya mo quit na di ay. Sorry. You have to remember, friends, there are people who will not make it in this business. Why? Because their dreams are not as big as yours. Because they don't see the value of your investment in them. You are trying to change a person's life from thinking small to thinking big. What you're doing to that person is major adjustment. And some people, they can't take it. But you can, because you got grit. Think about that. Have you ever been insulted before? Has somebody ever told you, Manulife? Mahal? Has somebody ever told you that before? Has somebody ever questioned your product? Yeah, di ka katubag. You're a rapper. Has somebody ever told you before you can't do it? Have you ever gone to your agency manager's office? Tuk-tuk ka ayo. You sit down. Oh, kumusta ang halin? Hinay man. Then she begins to ask you what happened. And then you burst into tears. Because the person that you thought who would sign up and believe in you was the first person to turn you down. I remember before, I was selling a product before. We were into distribution. And I remember that I was presenting a product to one of the most influential families in Cebu. And so I met her and she wasn't happy with the presentation. The following day she gives me a call and she tells me, Adrian, I do not like the presentation. I do not like the product. I am not going to sign up. I'm not going to buy. And worse, I will never endorse your product to any of my friends because it doesn't work. And so I hold on to the phone. I look like this. Thank you, ma'am. I put down the phone and I start to tear up. I go to one of my mentors, talk to my mentor, and this is what one of my mentors said. Adrian, Sometimes you have to go through the worst clients before you can arrive at the best ones. So I keep my head high. I smell all the sipon I have left. Go back to work. And 2 weeks later, I fished and I found the biggest client ever who stayed with us for the long term. Gritty people, persevering people, determined people are people who refuse to quit. Are you that person? Raise your right hand, please, everybody. Tap the person on your right. Tell the person right, you're not a quitter. Raise your left hand, please, everybody. Tap the person on your left. Tell the person that you're a lover. All right? I'm just kidding. A lover of Manulife. So what now, Adrian? Thank you. Thank you, Adrian, for telling us about grit. What's so grit about grit? How do I get grit? How do I make that a part of my life? Well, psychologists say that there are 3 things that we must do. They're the following. The first is we need to have what we call a growth mindset. What kind of mindset? What kind of mindset? One more time. What kind of mindset? There was a time in my life, friends, that all I ever did was just be a DJ in UR 105. Your voiceover guy a while ago, we used to work together. But it's because of this growth mindset. The mindset that says you cannot be contented with status quo. You cannot be happy with where you are. You cannot be satisfied with 6 agents. You have to believe in 3 billion. You cannot be satisfied with 3,500. There's got to be 5,000 if we're going to reach the Philippines. You cannot be satisfied with 6,000. There's got to be 8,000. We need to have a growth mindset. We need to keep on growing. Every person in this room today who claims that they're an expert is starting to decay. Why? Because experts themselves are people who are on the front seat, taking down notes and learning from the best of the best. Proof, Henry C. My Nino. Just kidding, all right? Henry C., the owner of a company called SM Corporation. Yes? To this day, sometimes opens SM Makati. He's the first person to arrive. He's never late for an appointment. And every time there's a conference, he's always in front, learning from people. That's the reason why SM is the biggest company in the Philippines. Do you have a growth mindset? Can you please gently elbow the person beside you? Tell the person beside you, tubo din ang gamay. Number 2, almost done. Crystallize your goals. Crystallize your goals. Everybody say crystallize. You need to know and you need to make sure and be clear what your goals are. Some people in this room today, you are riding the most advanced form of transportation ever known to man. It's called a hebal. You sit on somebody, you vibrate together for 30 minutes, and your helmet is turning around and you're saying, "Sus, intanga business suit ko," presenting to somebody. You need a car! I believe with all my heart that Manulifers, every single one of you should be driving a beautiful car. You shouldn't be going 04D. You should be fashionably late every time there's a high school reunion. You pull over in the Cebu Country Club. You put down your windows and you say, "Hi guys, mo park sa ko ha, kajut lang." Then you park your car. Are you with me? The car that you had 5 years ago, it needs to be updated. Come on. Some of you in this room today, you really need to build your own dream house in a dream location. Come on. My wife, before I married her, guess what? Their house got burned down. It was the first time in her life that she ever saw her father cry. Her father is a strong man, and he was shaking and trembling to see their home go down the rubble. And my wife, with grit in her eyes, said, "This will never ever happen again." The following year, she withdrew her lifetime savings. She bought a piece of property. She put up a beautiful house in Consolacion, and she bought a car for herself. And as she was telling me the story, I said, my gosh, this woman has got to be my God's best. Why? If I don't marry her, well, she cannot finance me. It's because of grit. And by the way, some of you in this room today, you're planning to get married. Manulife is going to get you there faster. I tell you what, if you're a lady right now, and you're planning to get married, and you're planning to walk down the aisle, you know, you're planning to walk down the aisle, make sure that the person you're marrying is financially stable. Make sure that the person you're marrying is a dream getter just like you. In fact, ladies, can I warn you, when I got married to my wife on our first night, I cried twice. The first time I cried was when we exchanged vows. The second time I cried was when I got the bill. Some of you in this room today, you have a dream of traveling. You have promised your kids, "Oy, Disneyland, huh? Disneyland. You just made top 5, huh? Disneyland. Promise, okay? Mommy will take you, all expense paid," right? And finally, when your child makes it to top 5, she says, "Oh, Mommy, I thought you said Disneyland." Ah, dito mga to kay, dagko kay mga ilaga din na. We come up with broken promises. And some of you, you love your parents so much, you want to take them to a place that they've always wanted. Ma, pa, they're all blindfolded. They're like, and they're all blindfolded. And then, don't take out the blindfold. And finally, you take out the blindfold. This is what you say. Ma, pa, as far as your eyes can see, that's yours. And then your father, poor vision, he goes, "Somebody don't cementerio manidong." The point is, how many of us are willing to make crystal clear our dreams that you and I will be able to send our kids so that they can get the best education that they deserve? How many of us in this room today are willing to work so hard to build a house because you never had one, because you rented one, because you were an NPA before when you were a child, because you saw that your parents were transferring from one house to the next and it wasn't theirs? How many of you in this room today, you believe with all your heart that you can go to places that you never thought before? You can go to Paris, even if there are terrorists there. You can go and see things that you've never seen before. How many of you in this room today can believe that if you decide to join Manulife and do it full time, you don't have to tear your body apart? You can have quality time with your kids, and you can watch every single step that they make and every single fall. And you don't have to be an absentee father or an absentee mother. Now, how many of you in this room believe that you don't have to go abroad to pursue a great career? Because you can do it here on Philippine soil. Lastly, and this is what Will Smith said in the movie Pursuit of Happiness. I want to read it to you guys. Don't ever let someone tell you that you can't do something. Yes, not even me. You got a dream, protect it. When people can't do something themselves, they're going to tell you that you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period. Look at the person beside you. I want you to point your finger at that person beside you. Tell the person beside you, go get it. Period.